Today I'm going to read, I've read many passages from this book to you before, Consolations by David Whyte. And this one's about silence. With the solstice coming up, to me, this is a deep time of cultivating silence in your life. This winter vibe that we're kind of slowly, you'd never know it sometimes with the Colorado sunshine, but we're slowly entering into this quieter time of the year. And you'd never know it by holiday vibes and all that. But truly, this is a time when we should be looking inward and having a little bit more time for rest and rejuvenation and quiet. So hopefully the darkness is a gift to you in that way. These dark days that we're having gives you more opportunity for being in that silence. So, David Whyte's words on silence. In silence, essence speaks to us of essence itself and asks for a kind of unilateral disarmament, our own essential nature slowly emerging as the defended periphery atomizes and falls apart. As the busy edge dissolves, we begin to join the conversation through the portal of a present unknowing, robust vulnerability, revealing in the way we listen a different ear, a more perceptive eye, an imagination refusing to come too early to a conclusion, and belonging to a different person than the one who first entered the quiet. Out of the quiet emerges the sheer incarnational presence of the world, a presence that seems to demand a moving internal symmetry in the one breathing and listening, equal to its own breathing, listening elemental powers. To become deeply silent is not to become still, but to become tidal and seasonal, a coming and going that has its own imitable, essential character, a story not fully told, like the background of the sea, or the rain falling, or the river going on, out of sight, out of our lives. Reality met on its own terms demands absolute presence and absolute giving away, an ability to live on equal terms with the fleeting and the eternal, the hardly touchable and the fully possible, a full bodily appearance and disappearance, arrested giving in and giving up, another identity braver, more generous, and more here than the one looking hungrily for the easy, unearned answer. So, if your eyes aren't closed already, settle into your body with some closed eyes so you can turn inward. Begin to get to know what's happening on the inside. How is your body today? And give yourself a little scan and notice if there's any places where you're holding a lot of tension that you could surrender a bit more. If there's any places that you are feeling absent or lazy where you could shore up and support a little more. Find the alignment of this posture and enjoy opening up your heart space, your chest, and let your breath move well. Relax through your face, relax through your eyes. And whatever, all the flotsam of thought that has already happened in your mind today, see if you can just quiet your mind down a bit, give it a focal point like a sensation or the breath. So you can come into the respite of presence. And begin to consciously stretch the exhales just a teeny bit longer. It doesn't have to be anything stressful or super long, but just a sensing of an ease through the exhale. Notice as you slow down your exhales, if your inhales are naturally starting to slow, if you're enjoying the slowing of the pace of your breath. Sometimes when we slow our breath down, it gives a little bit more opportunity for the mind to link up in presence with your breathing. Be patient with yourself as you train the mind to come into presence. When you feel ready, bring your hands together. Keep your breathing. You don't have to chop things up just because we're moving our body. So see if you can bring those hands together at the heart and offer an intention. Maybe it's cultivating more quiet or rest or silence in your day. Maybe it's something completely different. But whatever is needed for you today, place it into an intention here at the beginning. And then release the hands, and let's find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out, we'll, one of the greatest things about a slow yoga practice and not moving too rapidly is that it gives our mind and our body an opportunity to come to rest a little bit more. So as you lie down, take your time for your movements today. If I go too fast and you want to go slower, you just do that. Okay, so take your own pace. See if you can let an intention be the slowness of your breathing as we work. When you feel ready, stretch your arms overhead and just enjoy what it feels like to lengthen through your sides. Maybe stretching one side and then the other, and opening up your shoulders, opening up your ribs, your belly, your hips. Full breaths here. Keep with those long exhales as often as you can. And then we'll bring our knees into our chest and start with just a little bit of rocking. See if you can let your whole body rock so your head gets to have some softness as well. And then hang on to the knees and start to circle through your hips, letting your back relax, letting your hips soften in their joints, or the hip joints softening. All right, and then let's go ahead and switch directions, letting your knees circle the other way. And then when you're ready, bringing your knees into some circles where we open out away from the middle and bring them back in. And feel free to do this in symmetry. Feel free to zigzags. Feel free to kind of just free up the hip joints in any way that feels right for you. And then put your feet onto the ground. Stretch your arms into a cactus. So, goalpost your arms, back of hands coming down toward the ground or on the ground if your shoulders are open enough for that. Keep your feet planted on the ground and feel the earth below you. Feel it everywhere you can feel it. The backs of your arms, the soles of your feet, your spine, your pelvis, the back of your head. Fill your breath and empty it. And then stretch your arms out to the side and let's windshield wiper our knees left and right and turn your head in the opposition of your knees. So you're just welcoming in some twisting. Feel free to lift your leg and swing it a little further over to the side for a bit deeper twist if you'd like. Just kind of finding the spine. Feel free to turn your head away from your knees so you just get that full rotation. And then come back to those cactus arms again. And one more time, feel the ground below you. Just let your body melt into the earth. Give yourself time to take a full deep breath and empty it out. All right, and then we'll bring our hands onto our right knee. Stretch your left leg long on the ground and let's wiggle around in your toes and ankles, waking up your feet. Get some mobility there. So important to have flexible, mobile, adaptable feet. It's one of our main assets is to have healthy feet. Keeps our balance good. Everybody knows the feeling of injuring your foot and suddenly the world shrinks. Walking shrinks. So let's keep those feet healthy. Okay, take the right knee, cross it over to the left, and open up into a twist, a little deeper twist here. Big breath in, big breath out. Open up across your pecs. And then we'll bring that knee back into the chest and place that foot down onto the ground or leg onto the ground and switch sides. Now we'll bring our left knee into the chest, right leg long on the ground. Say hello to your feet again. Wiggle your toes, the bones in your feet, maybe move your ankles, maybe flex and point, maybe invert and evert. Just kind of find whatever movement feels welcoming. A good compression of that left knee, and then let's cross the left knee over to the right, twisting open. Only go as far as your body is welcoming. You don't have to have your deepest twist ever. Open up across your chest. Let those pec muscles feel some space. And then we'll come back to our back and stretch to a star on the ground. Reach your limbs wide. Let's roll our wrists and our ankles. Maybe open and close your fists or wiggle your fingers. And then when you're ready, a big breath in and stretch outward all your limbs. And as you exhale, draw in, knees to your chest. Pick up your head, a little ball. One more time. Expanding open. And as you exhale, drawing in. Put your head down, put your left foot down, cross your right thigh over your left, and draw your knees in toward your chest. Maybe a little pulsing or a little rocking, get a little movement within this stretch. Letting your hips open up. Rest your head on the ground. All right, and then reach both legs straight up in the air, arms overhead. Start to stabilize through the core of your body. Knit your ribs down toward the ground. Let's flex and point our feet here. So if you don't know what a point is, imagine you have a pair of very high heels on. So your feet are pointed, but your toes are flexed. Okay, so just kind of move through some range there. Maybe a few more circles with your ankles. Navel down, ribs down, and then we'll slowly lower our legs down to the ground. You can bend your knees at any moment you need. Once you're down onto the ground, reach and extend, and then bring your knees up. And this time we'll cross the left thigh over the right thigh and draw your knees into your chest. A little pulsing, a little rocking, a little circling, whatever kind of movement feels right to you. And then again, we'll lift our legs straight up, arms overhead. If the arms overhead is too much, always can put your arms down at your sides or out to the sides, lots of choices. And now we'll open our legs like a V. Stabilize through your core. And then bring your legs back in. Open them out to a V. And bring your legs back in. And then we'll slowly lower your legs down to the ground, taking your time. Once you're down there, we'll stretch open again to a star. And then roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. As you find all fours, take your time. Again, we're moving slowly. See if you can let the pace of your movements teach your mind a bit of presence. And remember, silence is not stillness, it's an embodiment that doesn't have to necessarily be a still body. Okay, let's move through some cats and cows, noticing your vertebrae, noticing your breath, noticing your ribs and your shoulder blades, noticing your sternum and your collarbones, noticing your pelvis and the way it's moving. And then wag your tail or do some circles or any kind of movement that is really lovely for your body. All right, and then we'll come down to a child's pose. Take the knees wide, or not, your choice, really, how wide you want to be in a child's pose. Drop down toward your heels with your sit bones. Stretch the arms far out in front of you and find some length. Full breaths here. A big inhale, a big exhale. And then we'll walk our hands over to one side, feeling that reach through your ribs, your shoulder, breathing deeply as you open up. Keep the base of the skull relaxed and soft. Over to the other side, feeling that stretch here, lengthen through your body, soften through your skull. All right, and then we'll come back up onto all fours. Find your breathing. And we'll go ahead and find our way to a twist like we always do. Let's lift that right arm up in the air. Maybe give your wrist a couple of swirls. And then exhale and drop your shoulder down. Twisting to the side. Breathing well. All right, face the ground. Stretch that shoulder a little bit more. Hips can come back toward the heels a little bit more now. Then inhale, bring that arm back up. Hand comes down onto the ground. We'll switch sides. Arm up, swirl around in your wrist, and then take your twist. Try to savor every bit of your practice. The things that we do regularly that feel familiar, kind of settle into the familiarity of that, the joy of familiarity, but then also notice very specifically how you feel right now. Okay, facing the ground a little bit more. Stretch the outside of that shoulder, drop your hips, let your head rest. Inhale, bring that arm back up in the air, hand comes down. Now we get to find our way to a dog pose. So as you lift up, enjoy. Okay, take some time, get your legs involved. Let's pedal your feet if you'd like, or sway your hips. Whatever feels good to kind of get yourself in your body, welcoming the sensation of your legs, your whole back body. Find that slow rhythm of your breath again. Take some time to ground yourself here, to feel the roots of your hands and your feet finding the earth. to push off from the earth and feel length in your body, the fullness of your breath. And then walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana, feet are hip width apart, folding forward. Feel free to have some hands on blocks. Feel free to hold your elbows, whatever feels nice. Knees can bend as much as you want. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Let's pedal again here, just like we did in a dog. Let your hips move. Let your knees move. You can even cross your knee past the midline to the other side if you'd like, or just regular straight pedaling. Try lifting your feet. Maybe the toes lift and the opposite heel lifts. And then feel the bottom of your feet. Wiggle your feet around to really sense the bottom of your feet and fold deeply. Relax your head. Grab on to the base of the skull. A little bit of a tug down with gravity. And then we'll push through our feet and rise all the way up. And take your time. If you at all get dizzy on the way up, you can always pause. You can squeeze to the midline. You can just rest for a moment. And when you feel ready, we'll lift our arms and enjoy opening things up. Lift the heart, a little bit of a back bend here. Notice the subtle changes in your mood just from something so simple as lifting your heart to the sky. Well, let's cactus. Open the arms, spread your wings, and then press out to the sides and lengthen through your heart, all the way to your hands. Lift your fingers up toward the sky, and then come all the way back up again. Cactus the arms, and this time we'll exhale and round in, chin to chest. Arms up to the sky again. Big breath, and a swan dive forward, fold. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through your heart, sit bones high, exhale and relax again. Step back to a dog pose, find that length in your body one more time. Enjoy, maybe you want your feet a little wider this time, maybe you want them a little narrower, maybe you want to sway from left to right, maybe you want to be still. So always just kind of intuit your practice as you go. This is a bit of working in presence, is following the intuitive asking of your body. Come forward into a plank. Feel the ground. Feel the strength within you. Support through your whole body. All right, and then we'll find our way to the ground. Roll the shoulders one more time. Any tension there, try to let it go. And then we'll inhale for a cobra pose, big open chest. Exhale and relax back down. One more time, rising up. Exhale, releasing back down. Take your arms out in front of you and grab a block and put your hands on top of, maybe 2 blocks. Put your hands on top of 2 blocks or 1 block if that narrow stance of your hands feels good. And we're going to lift up to a back bend here with our hands on blocks. Stretch through your spine, breathing deeply, opening the front of the body, and then exhale and melt again. Come up onto all fours, move around in your spine, wag your tail, wiggle about. Then find your way to a dog pose again. As you lift up, feel your way into that length. Notice if your body's starting to loosen and open. Feel free to move still, a little pedaling or swishing around if that feels good. Maybe stillness is rising naturally within you now. Let's lift the right leg up in the air. First, keep your hips square. Lift your left hip up and back. Extend through that right leg in the air. And then when you're ready, stack open and feel the stretch through your ribs, your side, your belly as you lengthen and breathe.
Your knee can be bent or your knee can be straight. And then put that foot down and we'll change to the other side. Left leg up, hips are square to begin. Lift your right hip up and back. Find your breath. And then when you're ready, we'll stretch open. Knee can be bent or knee can be straight, but lift that left hip high. Full breaths here. And then we'll put that foot down and walk your feet forward one more time. Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through the body. Exhale to melt. Push through your feet, rising up. And as you come down, let's find a chair pose. You can have a block between your thighs. You can have your feet together or your feet apart, your choice. First, bring your hands to your heart and just come down into your legs. Maybe a little bit of pulsing to make sure your legs are turned on. And then we'll reach the arms overhead and feel that length through your spine. Feel the support of your back body. Knit the ribs in like we did on the floor earlier. And then we'll come up onto our toes, nice and gentle, go slow. And then exhale. And put your feet down. Take your feet hip width apart and pause here for a moment. Listen to your breath. Maybe a slow, steady breath is coming and going. Can you feel that silence as tidal? That it's not still, but there's always internal movement. There's internal movement of our mind and of our body. All right, inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale and float forward. The halfway lift, opening up through the spine. Exhale and melt. Step back to a dog. Long spine here. Find your breath. On your next inhale, come forward into a plank. Exhale to find the ground. Next breath in, a back bend of your choice. Release on the exhale. Come up all the way to a dog pose again. Find your breath. Inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, bring your right foot forward to a lunge. Ground yourself, hands on blocks. Let's start to move, bending and straightening the front knee. Feeling your way with your breath into some movement. As you open up the hamstrings, also feel your way into opening up the hip flexors. And then ground your legs. Push through your feet, rising up, a crescent lunge. Finding breath. Squaring the hips to the front. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open up through your heart. Lift the heart toward the sky. Drop your hands down toward the ground. Release your hands. Place them onto the blocks. Half splits. Squaring the hips. Lift your right hip up and back. Deep engagement through your glutes. Both sides, just differently. Inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, squat. Push through your feet. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, squatting down. One more time. Stretch outward again. Have faith that the ground is there behind you. Bring your back foot down. Dog pose. Extend in your body. Feel the symmetry. Let your breath even itself out. Symmetry in the sense between left and right, but also symmetry between the volume and pace of your inhale and the volume and pace of your exhale. When you're ready, lift your left leg up in the air. Keep that rhythmic pace going in your breathing. Engage. So our right hip is lifting up and back as our left leg stretches in the air. And when you feel ready, we'll bring that foot forward, come to a lunge. Hands come up onto blocks. Find your way on this side. Notice it's different than the other side. What's here for you today? And we'll begin to bend and straighten the front knee. Find your way through your breath. You know, in some ways it doesn't really matter where you inhale and where you exhale, as long as you are linking breath and movement together and letting that link of breath and movement bring you deeper into embodiment and a sense of silence within you. And you feel ready, ground your legs. Come on up, crescent lunge. Opening up, feeling the heart lift. Again, maybe look up a little bit. Feel your heart lift and see if this changes your perspective, your mood in any way. When you're ready, interlace your hands the weird way, other finger on top. Stretch open through your heart. Try not to compress your low back. Use your legs, press them down. Use your core to help you lift and open. And then we'll release our hands. Bring your hands onto the blocks and we'll climb up into half splits on this side. The leg is out behind you. Lift your left hip up and back. Squaring the pelvis, engaging through your legs, finding your core. We'll take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, Jiva Squat. Inhale long, moving with breath. Exhale to drop in. Once more. Straighten that leg. Step back behind you. Know that the ground is there. Hands down onto the ground. Dog pose. Find your breath. Feel that grounding sensation, the symmetry, the closeness of the earth. So much goodness here. When you're ready, inhale, come forward into a plank. Push the ground away. Hang out here for a moment. Breathing deeply. And we'll put our knees on the ground to support. Come down to your belly. Reach the arms out in front of you wide this time. Lengthen upward and stretch through your legs. Open through the front of your body. Exhale and release to come back down. Take your right forearm in front of you and reach back to grab your left foot. We'll stretch our quad here. Tail long toward your knees. Pubic bone toward your navel. Finding your breath. And then we'll switch sides. Grab onto your right foot with your right hand. You can keep your forehead on your forearm or lift up a little bit, your choice. And then relax to melt that. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Wiggle around in your spine. You can always take fists onto the ground if your wrists are bothering you. We'll do some rib cage movement here. Drop your chest down and then over to the right, and then ribs up toward the sky, over to the left and back down again. So a full rib cage roll. Move with your breath. Do not hold your breath in this. Right, spin the other direction a few times. Keep breathing. Doesn't matter where the inhale lands and where the exhale lands. Just make sure you're breathing. And then come back toward a child's pose and stretch out through your spine again. We'll take our blocks in front of us. Take your elbows on your blocks and stretch through your triceps. Thumbs toward your spine, dropping back with your hips toward your heels. You can always curl your toes under to create a little more height for your sit bones to rest back on. And then slide forward back onto all fours. Move your spine around. Let's find our way one more time to a dog pose. Feeling that extension. Bring your right leg up in the air. Exhale, bring your foot through. Plant your back heel all the way onto the ground. Virabhadrasana 1. Reaching the arms upward to the sky, lengthening, finding your breath. All right, and then release and turn sideways on your mat. Big open stretch with your inner thighs, elbows inside your knees, a deep squat. Find your breath. And walk back to the front side of your mat. Fold here. Maybe a block between your legs, maybe not. Inhale for a chair. Find the work of the back body, the work of the glutes, the strength in your back itself. And we'll come up onto your toes. Don't worry if your heels come down onto the ground, no problem. Just lift them back up. And then release the heels down and fold. Okay. Step back to a lunge. Right, left foot is in front, right foot comes back. Plant the heel down. Inhale, rising up. Vira 1 here. A full breath. Ground through your legs. Ground through your legs. Root down, rise up. Feel that extension in your body, the back bend that lives in this pose. And then bring your heels or hands down to the ground. Bring that front foot back. Find the symmetry of a dog pose. Find your length. We'll lift the left leg up in the air. Swing that foot through to a lunge and turn and open up to your side. Wide legs. Find your breath. A deep squat again. Are you noticing that quiet and stillness can be within movement? Sometimes the quietest moments of your mind are when you're just deeply in your body. So notice the restfulness of that. Stand up, turn your right foot out, and let's find a Parsva Konasana. Stretch open through your side body and enjoy. Finding your breath. Feel that full extension here. Organize your legs and your pelvis where your sacrum is happy, your SI joints are happy. And then we'll come back up and we'll move our feet to the other side. Find a Parsvakonasana on this side, elbow on your knee, stretching the arm over your head. Melt into your breath. Feel the fullness of your inhales and your exhales. We'll come back up. Turn your feet straight on your mat and come down to a wide-legged pose. You can have your arms out in front of you like a dog pose, or you can have your hands in line with your feet, whatever feels right for you. Melt through your head, opening up through the backs of your legs again. Then we'll heel toe our feet and come down onto your shins. We're going to do a camel pose, and you can do this with your hands on blocks next to you. Or if you prefer, you can lift your, curl your toes under so your heels are a little higher. Or you can have a block there, or you can have your feet on the ground, depending on how deep you want to go in this posture. Knees are hip width apart. Make your choice with your hand placement of where your hands are going to go. Start your hands on your hips though. Open up through your chest. Feel that extension. Imagine you have a rolled towel behind your neck so you're not falling back with your head, but rising up through the front of your heart. And then reach back. And you could do this one-armed if you want. If you don't like this pose, it's a lot for you, you can reach back with one hand and the other one up to the side and then switch. So that makes it a little bit more gentle if you prefer that. Otherwise, two hands on your props and open up your chest. Let your head rest on your traps. Try to keep your pelvis in line with your knees. And then come out of the pose and sit back onto your heels for a moment. Don't do a child's pose. Resist the urge to bend forward just yet. Finding your breath. And let your hip rock, your left hip rock down toward the ground. Your feet, move them over to the side, to the right. Okay. And sometimes we do this pose with a blanket underneath our hip. For today, just lean over a little bit. Put your hands on the ground on the left side of your mat and twist open. It's okay that your right hip is leaving the floor. Just try not to push forward with your pelvis. Try to ground. Okay, coming back up to center. Shift your hips and put your feet on the other side. Find your hands coming onto the mat and rotate to the right. Notice if your two sides feel very different or if they feel similar. Notice your breathing. All right, coming back to center. Let's come on to our back. And rest here for a moment. We have one more back bend to do. Okay, so ground yourself here. Find your breath. We're going to do a bridge sequence. Okay, so have a block handy. First, we'll stick the block between our thighs, kind of like the bridge poses, the chair poses. And you can have the block close to your knees or close to your pelvis, and whatever width feels best to you. Ground the four corners of your feet, and we're going to lift up. Climb onto the tops of the shoulders, root through the four corners of your feet, and then decide, do I like that block? Is it helping me stabilize? Do I not like it? And if the block was going to leave your body, try to manage your legs where the block would fall down instead of up. So it's very easy for us to squeeze our butt cheeks and let the inner hamstrings do more work. So let the inner thighs roll down a little bit, but without losing your glutes. Breathe deeply as you ground the four corners of your feet. And then we'll come down and rest. Get rid of the block. We'll need it in a moment. Windshield wiper your knees and turn your head in opposition. All right, this next one, we're going to start actively, no block, and then we're going to slide the block underneath us. Block can be on the low height, the middle height, or you can stack two blocks if you want. All right, so we'll reach up, no block this time, have the block handy, close by, climb up into your pose, root your feet, inner thighs ever so slightly turned in, not a lot, just try to prevent yourself from turning out, okay, because really you just want to be neutral. Find the breath, and then when you feel ready, engage your glutes, keep those hips lifted, and then slide the block to support the height that you're at right now. So it could be two blocks, could be one block on top of the other, could be one block, you just do you. Now, as we move into this more passive version of a back bend, focus on your breath. All right. Usually, if you're on two blocks, this next variation, this is a little too high. So if you're on two blocks, lift your buttocks up and get off of the two blocks and come to rest on one block. Okay, either height, low or middle. And then we'll stretch both legs straight on the ground, heels on the ground, or if that's too much for your back, one leg at a time. Put one foot on the ground, straighten the other leg. So whatever you're doing, find your way and put your arms wherever you'd like them to be. Maybe you want them cactus or arms overhead or out to the sides. You do you. Also with your legs, maybe you want them a little wider apart from the midline. Maybe you want them more hip width apart. So kind of experiment with what gives you the sensation you want right now. If you're doing one leg, switch. Give yourself the opportunity to breathe. And then we'll all put our feet on the ground, adjust your pelvis on the block, and we'll bring our feet straight up in the air. Resist the urge to bring your knees into your chest just yet. First, just start with legs up. We want our back to slowly come back to neutral. We don't want to come into flexion too soon after a back bend. We want our spine to orient itself more neutral first. Feel the weight release from your legs down into your pelvis. And then as you're ready, and you might need a little adjustment of the block, bring your knees in toward your chest. Let the block give you some traction for your back. Feel free if you'd like to take your knees apart and come to a happy baby instead of knees to chest. Your choice. And let's lift your pelvis up and lower down to the ground. Feet on the ground. Cactus your arms. Knock your knees toward each other. Full breaths here. All right, we will come back to neutral with our legs. Scoot your hips over to the right, knees come up and drop them to the left. Twisting open, breathing deeply. Okay, come back up. Scoot your hips the other way. Knees come over to the side. And as always, do any variations of this that you want. Maybe your top leg likes to be straight in this pose. Just kind of find what works for your body. Feel your way to your breathing. Come back to center and choose a hip stretch, either thigh over thigh and draw your knees in like we did in the beginning, or slide your foot for a reverse pigeon pose, right foot on left knee. So choose the pose that works for you. Let your head drop and let your breath come. Switch legs when you feel ready. Take your time. If you're not ready, don't switch. Feel your way into your breath. Heaviness in your head. And then as you're ready, we'll find Shavasana. If you need any props, you do you. If you're cold, if you have bright lights on you, make your Shavasana as comfortable as you can. As your body finds stillness, melt into the floor. Try to feel your entire back body rest down. Start with your head, travel downward, adjust anything at all as you go. Full breaths in, complete exhales.
and you feel ready, don't move too much yet. Just bring your awareness back into the stillness of your body and your mind. Give yourself over to some conscious breaths, melting deeply into the ground. As you feel ready, begin to move a little bit. Small movements through your hands, your feet, your wrists, your ankles. Maybe turning your head from side to side. And then give yourself a big full stretch if you'd like. And find your way to your side. When you're ready, push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Notice if stillness is a little easier to access now. When you're ready, bring your hands together and let's offer our presence to another. One of the greatest gifts we can give to each other is our presence. Namaste.